Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. And today, as you can see, I'm still continuing my Disney movie marathon where I'll be talking about the movies, TV shows, you name it. If it's related to Disney in any shape or form, then yes, I'll be talking about it. So, alright, I haven't reviewed a documentary in a good while, so here we go at it again, I guess. Might as well, I guess. So, I reckon I would talk about this documentary titled it's a mafia documentary with violence and explosions, blowing up cars and all that jazz. Yes, this is on Disney Plus. I don't know for how long, but it's on Disney Plus. Of all things, like okay, may seem rather bizarre for some people, but I just took it as an educational experience, if anything. So I guess that's a positive thing. I guess you can learn something from it. I guess doesn't that kind of the point when it comes to documentaries? Anywho, so I've seen it a good while ago, so it's just might as well get to it finally. Anyway, let's just discuss like the themes of it and whatnot. Let's get into it. Okay, like point out the obvious is a crime related thing. Anyway, it centers around this one individual who's supposed to be without a doubt one of the most ruthless mob bosses of all time. More than living up to his nickname, so let's put it that way, the Beast, the boss of bosses and whatnot. So this documentary is supposed to center around his story, from poverty-stricken beginnings to the head of this kind of thing. I guess you can say. So yeah, it's supposed to be this indiscriminate murder and whatnot to his capture and whatnot and his death behind bars and whatnot. So those key moments I would talk about this kind of a thing, of course. Yeah, he's not really a kind person. Just like these key moments, events in his life that are revisited through the people who have known, feared him, or even fought him as well. So there you go, I guess. And things get rather crazy, I guess you can say, as you might expect, of course, as obviously. But yeah, he was definitely known as the boss of bosses, so to speak. He gets his his rep. Yeah, I mean, he gets his rep, is what I'm trying to say here. I mean, he's finally arrested, but still, he still has his, of course, claim to fame and whatnot. He still has this kind of a thing, of course. But yeah, so I just thought I'd cover this because even though this was originally on National Geographic, but it was imported to Disney Plus, I guess. It's about 44 minutes ish. So, I guess, in other words, don't come back as much information as they could. Yes, obviously, this is exactly something for kids. I wouldn't exactly say this is kid friendly, obviously. So, the young kids, I don't show this to them. Maybe once they get older, then maybe, I guess. Definitely, this is one of those supposed to be one of the more powerful mob bosses of all time. And this documentary just goes into this kind of drama and whatnot, and how he's lived his life, of course. But yeah, it's a crime thing. It's a crime documentary type of a movie, I suppose. Yeah, this is the type of movies I don't really talk about often. I mean, the crime stuff. I mean, yeah, I don't talk about this kind of thing all that often. Of course, I mean, I've done it before, just not very often. So this also seems like a chance to revisit a genre. I don't talk about that often. So this seemed like a good idea to do so. So okay, there was that I reckon. It seemed like a good idea to talk about this kind of a thing because, like I was saying, I do think you could get some good insight um, on these types of individuals who lived let's say, a particular kind of life. Let's put it that way. And yes, obviously, things get rather wild, as you may expect, of course. And that's the thing. That's definitely the thing. You can use this as a way to educate yourself, I suppose. Which again, I can use that as a way to, I guess, expand your mind, so to speak. Like, okay, you may never heard of this person, but now you have. Now you have heard of this individual whom you most likely probably would never heard of to begin with. So yeah, he was this big scary dude, this big scary individual whom caused fear among a lot of people. And that was the point in some ways when you think about it, because he did not want anybody to, I guess, come across his path, or otherwise you teach him a lesson, so to speak. And that's fine because I mean it's not right for him to do that, but it's fine to you can see how these people lived, these kinds of people, how they lived, how they worked, how they get had money, how they made a living, of course. It's not that this documentary is trying to glorify this kind of thing, which clearly isn't. So, of course, I don't want anybody to be thinking that, oh, Disney is suddenly pro-violence or anything. That which it's gonna be flower alive. I'm probably pretty sure a lot of people take it that way because a lot of people out there don't make no sense. But anyway, I just thought I'd just talk about this because as a way to speak about this kind of thing because I've watched it a while ago as I was saying, but I just thought I'd just finally talk about it because of the fact that well I reviewed it a while ago. I mean I watched it and I finally want to review this kind of a thing. I might as well get to it. And this thing, folks, sometimes it would just take me a good while to just discuss a thing. Whether it's a documentary, a short, or whatever. It sometimes just take me a while to finally get to it. And just that's how it is. Anyhow, I just thought to talk about this because why not? I just thought this was a good way to talk about this kind of a thing because I don't mind crime stuff really, and I know a lot of people don't know this. Yeah, I've watched quite a bit of crime stuff before. This is not the only time. I do watch some crime stuff more often than you would think, and that's the thing. There's it's more. Yeah, it's definitely more. I watch crime stuff way more than you would think. I don't. I mean, I talk about it here on here all that much, but I do. I really do. Anyway, all in all, I can say is it's a pretty good one. This was definitely a pretty good one and whatnot because I thought this was informative. I thought this was a good way to express what he went through, his life, the people he's gets spoke to and whatnot. And yes, of course, it seemed like a good way to talk about this kind of thing because of the fact that I did think that this was something I would say in regards of this person. Yeah, a pretty crazy life, pretty crazy life as you might expect in regards of this kind of thing because it's just something that you may not even fathom. You may even never even want to want. I mean, live this kind of life, of course. But yet here we are. Here with this kind of a thing. But sure, okay. All in all, this was definitely a wild documentary, and I do recommend watching it. But again, not with the kids, of course. This is not something for the kids. Just because it's on Disney Plus doesn't necessarily mean it's for the kids. Not whatsoever at all. I'm just putting it out there for those who don't know because yeah, it gets pretty violent. It's just trying to display what's going on with this individual's life. That's it. It's not trying to say that go ahead and harm people. He's not trying to say that kind of thing. Not whatsoever. He's just trying to the documentary. He's just trying to express what had this person how he lived his life, how he went through, and what his eventual arrest. But that's it, really. That's all he's trying to. I'm trying to talk about. He's just trying to talk about the kind of life he went through, of course, and that's the point here, obviously. Anyway, I'm just trying to talk about how this individual lived a pretty crazy life, how he lived in a crazy way. I mean, of course, he felt that he had to do this. Of course, he felt like in his head this seemed like the right thing to do. Of course, in his own mind, obviously, it's just something like he viewed like he had to do. Anyway, I guess let's just wrap it up, shall we? But that's the thing, though. And ultimately, I can really say is that it's it really does attempt to be informative. Of course, in his own level, he does attempt to be informative. It just of course, that's the only way I saw this. I was on Disney Plus. I didn't even know that this documentary even existed uh, until I came across with Disney and Disney Plus, of course. But yes, obviously, yeah, he came to dominate the Italian organization crime through a ruthless campaign of violence and terror, and that continued quite a while. Even after his eventual arrest and imprisonment, even afterwards. So that's pretty wild in his own little way when you think about it. But yes, of course, this is something not for everybody. Of course, this is something might be not for everyone. It might be too scary for a lot of people, of course. But still, I did think that this was a pretty solid documentary as a whole because I did like what the people who were working on this Definitely did a good job as a whole because I didn't want to capture this wildlife, this craziness that these people went through. And yeah, it does a pretty good job in capturing that kind of thing, of course. I did like that. But anyway, I mean, there's not much else I can say here because of the fact that it just seems like a wild thing that these people would actually live in such a way. Yeah, I do think it's pretty crazy. I did like the story. I did like what they were trying to aim for, of course. Anyway, well, I guess that's all I can really say is ultimately is that that's all I can really say is really because I'm without getting like too much into it, really too much into the nitty gritty, I guess. Even though I technically am, I suppose. But all I'm going to say is definitely check it out. I definitely thought this was a good watch. I really felt like this was a good way to get some kind of insight on this entire thing here because it's definitely a well-made documentary. I'll give this an overall rating of a 7.0. I think it's a 7.0 out of 10 for me. So of course, as always, thanks for watching and take care. See ya. Oh yeah, later. Yeah.